What if I told you that your kindness is hurting you? You give, you help, you say yes. It exhausts you, yet you still do it because you care. But there's a time when being there for others starts costing you more than you realize. The sad part, most of us don't see it until it's too late. Hello and welcome to With Samar Naim. Today, we're talking about what happens when you care too much and how something so beautiful can backfire. I'll be sharing with you 3 red flags that show how caring too much is hurting you. And the worst part, it's not just draining your well-being, it's straining your relationships, turning into a ticking bomb that can potentially destroy other parts of your life. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. So let's figure this out together. Number 1, over-involvement. When caring feels controlling. Stop suffocating them with your care. Sounds harsh, right? But hear me out. A lot of times we think we're helping, we're showing love, we're being there. But what if the more we step in, the more we take something away from them? You want to hear a funny story? This exact point hit me when I saw how my 4-year-old daughter was dealing with her younger brother. She was trying to teach him how to brush his teeth, but instead of giving him the opportunity to hold the toothpaste and brush, she was grabbing the brush from his hand, giving him way too many instructions, interrupting his every move, and he was getting frustrated. Until I stepped in and said, "Mommy, I know you do a great job brushing your teeth, but can you let him try?" Her answer was, "But I don't want him to cry if he couldn't do it. I want him to do it right and be happy." Now that made me smile for sure, but it also made me realize she was doing exactly what I would do. What I told her next wasn't just a lesson for her. It was a lesson for me. "Mommy, I know you love him, but you have to give him the space to learn. It's okay if he doesn't get it right the first time. It's okay if he struggles, and it's okay if he cries too." Because without realizing it, our selfless act of care can actually limit someone else's development instead of supporting it. Isn't that ironic? And this isn't just with kids. The same thing happens in relationships, friendships, and even at work. We think we're stepping in to help, to shield them from struggles, to fix the problem, to make things easier or safer for them. But what if the very things we're doing out of care are the very things holding them back from learning, from growing, from becoming accountable, from becoming stronger? What if I told you that your care can unintentionally become overwhelming, controlling, and even exhausting to those you are supposedly caring for? It stings, I know. But if you're always the problem solver, you're not reinforcing trust. You're reinforcing dependency. It's like overwatering a plant. Your intention is good, but the outcome, not so much. The truth is, sometimes your care becomes a burden, not just for you, but for them. And instead of creating connection, you create tension. Here's a question that could help. Ask yourself, is my help truly helping, or am I holding them back from figuring things out on their own? And if you're open to it, you can even ask them, because real care is not about doing everything for them. It's about knowing when to step back. Number 2, becoming invisible when your kindness goes unnoticed. Picture this. You just went the extra mile to help someone out, but your act was met with silence. How would you feel about that? Would that bother you? Now, what if the person you went out of your way for was someone you're familiar to? would that change how you feel? I'll be honest. If a stranger didn't say thank you, I'd notice it, but I'd let it slip. But if it's someone I know, that would probably bother me way more. See, when your niceness becomes the norm, it stops feeling special. It just becomes expected. When caring too much becomes your default, something shifts. What once felt like a kind gesture now feels like a duty. What once was above and beyond is now just what's new. Don't you realize that? That the more you give, the less people notice? And here's where it gets really messy. Resentment sneaks in and doubt starts to build up. You start wondering, don't they see what I'm doing? Why do I feel so underappreciated? Why am I the only one putting in all the effort? But from their perspective, they might just be thinking, this is just how you are. It sounds almost unfair and insensitive. But the truth is, if you always overextend, people stop seeing it as extra. They start seeing it as the standard. And I get how frustrating that is because you started from a place of kindness and now you're feeling overlooked. I once heard someone say to a colleague, "You led yourself here. No one asked you to do all these extra things. You just did them." Ouch, right? This is why it's very important to check in with yourself. Am I getting bothered by the lack of gratitude for the effort I'm extending? Do I feel like I am taken for granted? Be honest with yourself. Do I really want to keep this up? Am I giving because I truly want to, or because it has just become my role? Your answers make all the difference. Number 3, losing yourself when caring costs you too much. Caring takes energy, a lot of it. And whether you choose to care or feel obligated to, that energy is being spent. You stay up late to help someone else and end up sacrificing your own rest. You hold everyone else's emotions and wonder why you feel mentally and emotionally drained. And it builds up. At first, this care feels like love, like kindness, like being a good person. But when you constantly give, it will get to you. You slowly start feeling drained, feeling stressed, losing your patience. It's like carrying an invisible weight for so long that your body, your mind, your emotions finally say enough. It starts taking a toll on you. And before you know it, other areas of your life start to suffer too. Your relationships, your work, your peace of mind, your health. The help, the care, the thoughtfulness that once felt good are now causing you pain, even in ways you are not yet aware of. You don't just get tired, you lose yourself. And then, bam, you hit that breaking point. You either break down or something in your life that you overlooked breaks down, forcing you to question, how did I get here? And the sad truth is, when you hit that breaking point, not everyone will notice, and some won't even care. But the people who do matter in your life, they might be the ones who get caught in the mess. You don't want your kids, your partner, or the people closest to you to experience the fallout of your exhaustion, do you? If you can relate to this, it's time to pause. Take a step back and ask yourself, with the amount of care I'm extending in this area of my life, and name the area, what am I actually prioritizing? And over what? Am I truly choosing what matters, or am I stuck in a pattern of giving without realizing what it's taking from me? How is this affecting my mental and physical health? Am I losing myself under the name of flexibility and helpfulness? And if I break down, who's going to pay the price? Make sure the people who matter aren't the unintended casualties of your burnout. I'm not asking you to be insensitive. I'm actually asking you to finally be sensitive towards you. Now, here's something that usually happens. When you finally recognize the need for a boundary and decide to set it, you hesitate. You tiptoe around it, afraid of disappointing others or seeming less flexible. You don't want to disrupt the image they have of you. But here's the truth. People evolve. You're allowed to grow, to change, to adjust how you give. And small steps towards this shift will create big impact over time. So, if any of these red flags struck a chord, it's time for change. And let's be real, this shift won't happen overnight. It might feel like shedding a skin you've worn for years. It will feel uncomfortable, but so does staying stuck. To help you navigate this shift, here's a 4-step framework that will challenge your perspective and help you make decisions and build habits that actually serve you. Number 1, be honest about your expectations. Am I truly okay with giving without expecting anything in return? For example, if you keep helping a friend or covering for a coworker but secretly hope that they'll do the same for you and they never do, that's a sign that you need to check in with yourself. If you're giving without expectations, own it. But if you do have expectations and feel frustrated, that's a sign to reassess and set better boundaries. Number 2, protect your energy like it is money. Is the energy I'm spending worth what I'm giving up elsewhere? For example, if you regularly say yes to staying late at work or working in the weekend, this might mean that you'll be skipping the gym or skipping dinner with your family, and this might have you end up feeling exhausted the next morning or snapping at your kids for wanting your attention. Would you spend actual money this recklessly? Probably not. Your energy is just as valuable. Number 3, shift your care so it includes you. Ask yourself, where do I need to start shifting my care so it actually includes me too? Let's say you're always the one who makes plans in your friendships. For a change, step back and let others initiate. Now, if they don't, that tells you something about the dynamic. Start investing in relationships and activities that give back to you. Finally, number 4, reinforce the shift so you don't fall back. Ask yourself, how can I make sure I don't fall back into overcaring? What reminder, boundary, or habit can I put in place? For example, if you tend to overcommit, create a pause rule. Before saying yes, give yourself 24 hours to decide. Or set up an accountability check. Tell a trusted friend that you're working on setting limits so they can remind you when you're slipping. If this resonates with you and you're ready to take action, I've got 2 videos on my channel that will help you. One on setting boundaries and following through, and another on people-pleasing and emotional regulation. I recommend you watch them to help you make the real change. At the end of the day, you can still be kind and supportive without sacrificing yourself in the process. Because caring is beautiful, but only when it includes you too. Let me know in the comments which part of today's episode hit home for you. And if you know someone who needs to hear this, share it with them. For more content on personal development and navigating life, make sure to like this video and hit that subscribe button. And always remember, you've got this. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.